land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Duwamish, Puyallup, Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot nations. Thank you.
Welcome, all of you, to this very, very important event. My name is Nancy Scott, and I'm here to introduce all the gun violence prevention partners that are here tonight. First, we are joined by the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, who work to create innovative policy, advocate for changes in laws, and promote community education to reduce gun violence. Our next group is Brady, who is committed to defeating the NRA, electing gun safety champions, and passing common sense bipartisan legislation. And connected to Brady is Team Enough, which is a youth-led organization whose mission is to educate young voices about gun violence and mobilize them to make meaningful action against it. We also appreciate Washington Ceasefire, who for 35 years has been a prominent citizen activist group pushing for cultural change to reduce gun violence. We also want to thank Grandmothers Against Gun Violence, who show up, stand up, speak up to create a safer world for all grandchildren and rising generations. Another contributor is the Soul Box Project, which raises awareness of the gun violence epidemic by exhibiting thousands of hand-folded origami boxes representing victims across the nation. And we also have Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, which is a grassroots movement fighting for public safety measures to protect people from gun violence. It is part of Everytown for Gun Safety, with volunteer chapters in every state and 10 million supporters. Finally, we want to thank the St. Dunstan's community for graciously offering this space and all their volunteer time. Thank you.
Welcome. My name is Dave O'Connor, and I am a survivor of gun violence and a volunteer at the Everytown Survivor Network. My role tonight is to introduce our host and moderator for this evening, Reverend David Marshall. I first met David early in 2016, 2 months after the murder of my nephew, Jonathan. David was holding weekly vigils here at St. Dunstan's, and that went on for several months to end gun violence. I was broken and emotionally and spiritually, and those vigils were the glue that kept me together. I am forever grateful. Not only does David work to end gun violence, but also to feed the hungry and to shelter the homeless. His congregation here at St. Dunstan's hosts Tuesday evening community dinners, which feeds up to 250 people each week. They also are a shoreline weather shelter, severe weather shelter for the homeless in frigid weather. It looks like tonight is going to be one of those nights. Yeah. And they are also host to United We Stand, a self-managed homeless encampment providing shelter and safety to the homeless. Not only does this man preach love thy neighbor, he also walks the talk. It is my honor to present the pastor of St. Dunstan's, a magnanimous human being, and the moderator for tonight's ceremony, the Reverend David Marshall.
Well, welcome to St. Dunstan's Church here in Shoreline, Washington, the church that feeds people. We love saying that because it's what we do every Tuesday night since 2012. We've made meals for hungry people. In 2014, we started feeding people in the church as well as delivering food to the camps that we deliver food to. We're delivering food to 4 camps right now. two tiny home villages, one in Ballard, one on Aurora, Tent City 3 and Camp United We Stand. And we just in November brought the meal back inside after 2.5 years of not being able to have the community of community dinner. It's been such a pleasure to be back inside again, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here for this event. 10 years ago, we held a vigil after the Sandy Hook disaster, after that horrible event. And then something else happened. I don't remember the order of the events, but then another one happened and we held a vigil. And then another one happened and we held a vigil. And it seemed like it would never end. And then Orlando happened, the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. And it was unimaginable. It was just it was so big and so horrible. And I said to my staff, I said, we need to do more. Let's hold a nightly or a weekly vigil until something starts changing. And so in January of 2016, we started holding a vigil every week here, and we made, they look like school kid posters, but we made our own posters with pictures off the internet of the kids that had been killed, and we made lists of people who had been killed that week. And it wasn't hard to find lists of people who had been killed by gun violence. And we rang bells as we said names, and we lit candles as we said names. And every week we would finish by going back into that room there where all your tables are set up, and we would just talk. And my hope through the whole thing was that the pain that we were feeling in our hearts could be translated into action, that we could go out into the world and do something that would make a difference. And this night is a fulfillment of that dream for us, to see all of you here, to have all of your organizations represented at these tables and putting forth each of your different collective efforts to put an end to this horrible plague that our nation suffers from. It's wonderful, and I'm delighted that you are here. We have a very interesting vigil planned tonight, and it's interesting because I didn't plan this one. Dave and Nancy and the whole crew, they planned this one, and I have to say, it's an awful lot like the vigils we did. And I'm honored by that. So so what we're going to do tonight is, yes, we're going to have a little bit of music from Alex Johnson here, and then we're going to hear from Danita Sinclair Martin and Chayton Soni and Representative Liz Berry. So we'll have a brief presentation from each of them, and then we will have the speaking of the names. We will speak the names of 72 local people, local and, right, yeah, they'll tell you who they are. Okay, that's their part, all right. And after that, you have an opportunity to speak names yourself. And I'll explain more about that later. But let's go ahead and get started now. And to get us started, we'll turn to Alex for the opening song.
It's an honor to be here. My name is Alex Johnston. I've got some music to share that I've written, and these songs are about the miracle of life, what it means to be human, and the interconnectedness of people. And I hope these songs, maybe you can catch a lyric or two, or maybe find yourself in the story of the songs, and reflect on what it means to be a human being in a really complicated world. It's special to be able to be here tonight in a room, look around you, and realize you're all thoughtfully and intentionally here, and to consider that a very special thing. And I hope that these songs can bring you into that space with heart, compassion, and specialness. So this first song is about being cold. I wrote an album about what it's like to be cold and what that thought kind of inspires and thinks about. When you think about being cold and shivering at night, kind of makes you think of your own vulnerabilities and the things that you want and desire in life. So this song is called Vastness of the Heart. All of us have shivered on a lonely night, cozy tight in blankets, knowing warmth takes time, wishing out the window at silver moon and stars, that clouds don't dare deprive us of brilliance blessing us. There are stars within us all, hot-blooded in our veins. There are burdens of a blizzard, too passionate to contain, like northern lights enchanting. There is a hypnotizing song, imagining within us all we ever could become. Oh, the darkest night knows deeply the birth of every spark, like a universe expanding in an avalanche of love. And the coldness night knows confidently the vastness of the heart. There is room enough for everyone, for all are enough. And there are stars within us all, hot-blooded in our veins. And there are burdens of a blizzard, too passionate to contain, like northern lights enchanting. There is a hypnotizing song, imagining within us all we ever could become, more worthy than royalty, bestowed gifts of gold. There is no price that can't be paid to own a miracle. Behold the mystery of life, sleeping motionless, soaring at the speed of light. How precious this life is. How precious this life is. Thank you. Thank you. This next song is about remembering who you are. And life can be frantic and chaotic at times, and this is a song about remembering to remember yourself and everything that makes you you, and that's a preciously important thing. Don't forget to greet yourself knocking at your door. You've been there before. Don't forget to listen to you ask for help. You needed it all. Pouring rain, no sunlight on your porch, spinning your soul. So don't forget to greet yourself knocking at your door. You've been there before. You've been there before. And it's been a while and you know it well. And a while really isn't long enough, I know. You've been there before. So don't forget to nudge yourself when you can't wake up. Don't wanna miss your luck. So don't forget to lift yourself when you can't get up. You needed my love. You needed some love. And it's not far, but it's not really close. And it's not a lot, but I know that it's enough. You needed my love. Oh, you needed some love. Oh, you needed my love. So don't forget to sit down when you can't stand up. You needed my love. And don't forget to hold yourself when you need that touch. You needed my love. Oh, oh. Don't forget to greet yourself knocking at your door. You've been there before. Thank you. This last song is about just kind of seeing everyone everywhere around you. If you look at a tree, if you look at the water, if you look at the clouds, seeing yourself, seeing your loved ones, seeing people you've never met in past, present, and future. All around you, and that ultimately there's that kind of mystery of connectedness, and this song is doesn't capture that because you can't capture that, but it's an attempt. So the song is called By Breath. So thank you. We're all fire underwater, oceans in the air, countless puzzle pieces, wondering why we're here. We're barely moving an inch, but we're keeping track of miles. We're the same face beneath our masks, but we're tricked by our disguises. We're swimming deep within it, the surface out of sight. The thought descends beneath us. Oh, we're swimming through the sky. When your body says goodnight, I won't drown in the fear. Even though you lose your breath, remember you will remain here. In an echo, in a glimpse, in a moment I can't miss, in the sweet paralysis, in the exit and entrance, in the touch of something strange, in a whisper of the name, in explosions in myself, in the place I got lost. Yeah, it was the place I found myself. It was the place where I found out that every garden is a grave, every teardrop a wave, and every wave is an ocean, and every ocean is a breath, and everyone is tethered by breath. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We will now hear from our speakers, and we're going to start with Danita Sinclair Martin. And she is an Every Town Survivor Fellow and the mother of 3 children, Melisha, Horace, and Reality. And great names. Awesome. She was raised in Seattle and has worked with POCAN, is that how you say it? P-O-C-A-A-N, Seattle, promoting health, mobilizing community, transforming lives. She is an amazing organizer and the founder of We Got Us Moms, a group dedicated to raising up the voices of moms who have had their children or family members stolen by gun violence. Last week, Danita was a speaker at the National Vigil for all victims of gun violence in Washington, D.C. She was right up there at the podium where President Biden was speaking, so, you know, pretty awesome. I invite you to come forward now. Thank you for being with us, Danita.
Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank each and every one of you guys. I was gonna come up here and talk about what I had here written, but I wanted to say things from my heart. I see that we all is here for one thing, and that's to end gun violence. Sorry, guys. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Lorenzo. My son, Horace. Horse was my 24-week preemie. I had a baby that was born in this world early, so I know you guys know what type of difficulties and different surgeries and IEPs and different things that my son had overcome, right? So in June of 2020, my son was at CHOP, and that's called Capitol Hill Occupied Protest. Lorenzo was there with some other children that was learning about the Black Lives Matter and just trying to, Seattle was going through some things at that time. We was facing COVID. We had went through some lawlessness, some things that we haven't never seen before. And Lorenzo was approached by 6 young men that have been active, that have been causing chaos, that have been in our community just causing problems. But not just only that, our community already been facing gun violence, right? So I'm not here to just tell no story. I'm here to ask you guys for your support, right? For help. It's time. It's time to make an end and put a stop to this gun violence. There's way too many people in this room, and it's getting bigger. So this is not a game. I thank each and every one of you, your candidates, senators, law enforcement, advocacy. I thank you guys for your strength, right? Because this is not easy. This is not easy work. And it takes every single day, every minute. There's days empty. I sleep sleepless nights every night. While everybody's at home sleeping peacefully, I'm tossing and I'm turning. I'm crying. I'm empty. But I'm going to keep going. Right? And I'm just not just keep going for Lorenzo, but for Sandy Hook, for Addie Webb, for your babies, for your nieces, for your nephews, for your family members. But it's time, right? So I was talking to one of the young ladies out there saying, don't let what happened to me happen to you, for you guys to make change, right? Let's make change today. Let's stop what's happening. If it's these, let's end these. What we're trying to do here, friend, with our the weapons, right? Most definitely, most definitely the assault weapons. Let's get rid of them, right? Let's quit. It's like we're okaying, we're strengthening danger. Let's get uninfected, understanding that violence is a disease, and there is a cure. But it starts with us. I had all this to say, but I'm like, I just want to talk to some human people, some people that's human. I was like, I don't want to have no speech. So I do thank you guys. I do thank Jane. I'm sorry I didn't stick to the script, but I'm here to just say, I'm here. I stand with you. I stand with each and every one of you. But it's going to take outreach, advocacy. They got to hear our tears. They got to know that this is real. And if every week we need to be here again, just like this. Don't let it be one time or just Sandy Hook annual. Make it weekly. Stand up. Stop. We can't look away. And just because it didn't happen to me, y'all, today, don't mean it won't happen. I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
Well done. Wow. Okay, so we're next going to hear from Chayton Sony, and he's a student at Lincoln High School right here in Seattle, and he attends Seattle Central Community College in Seattle as well, like Fast Start or something like that. Yeah, Running Start. Yeah, awesome. He's a longtime student leader in gun violence prevention. He's currently a field organizer with the Alliance for Gun Responsibility. It's just amazing to just be able to say all the titles of these organizations. It's just so, we got to support these organizations, each and every one of them, and especially when if something works, do more of that, right? All right. He's also, he spoke and helped organize the student walkout last month in coordination with Seattle Student Union in the wake of the Ingram high school shooting. That was in this neighborhood. That was right here. Last fall, Chayton led a youth summit on gun violence prevention in Seattle. He has a resume a mile long, and with students like Chayton stepping up, the future of our country is in safe and steady hands. So let's support him and make it happen. Thank you, Chayton.
As a student, I grew up in a crisis of increased gun violence across the country. Since elementary school, my classmates and I have had to practice lockdowns, hiding in a corner, pulling down the blinds, and staying absolutely, completely silent because we knew that one day our lives might depend on it. During a lockdown, you don't know what's happening or why. You just remember your teacher's pure terror as they hear jiggling or shaking of the doorknob and then pounding of the door. In middle school, I was in two lockdowns within the same year, 2 moments where I knew that they were coming and they were going to come into our classroom. That feeling stays with you and it never goes away. In 2018, I marched with March for Our Lives in North Carolina. After everything that had happened, I made it my goal, as outlandish as it sounded at the time, that no one was going to have to endure the same thing that my generation did. When I moved to Seattle in 2020, I thought that I was somehow safer. Like the distance meant that the problem was contained just to that area, and as selfish as that sounds, I wanted it to stay over there. During the pandemic, it seemed like mass shootings were stopping. But then the school year started. Across the country, even just miles away at Ingram High School, shootings in schools have continued to happen. Firearms are the second leading cause of death in children and teens in Washington state. Firearm suicides among youth are higher than before the pandemic, and now 50% of youth firearm deaths are suicides. In the powerful history of the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, we passed 3 ballot initiatives, multiple bills, most recently one restricting high-capacity magazines. Next year, we're going to continue to do the work in our most powerful set of bills yet, encompassing everything from permit-to-purchase laws, justice for victims and their families, and yes, an assault weapons ban, which is the weapon of choice for mass shooters. As we reflect on the 10-year mark of a horrific shooting that took place at an elementary school, are we really that much safer in our schools? We continue to not be protected in the very places that are meant to make us feel safe. I challenge legislators who have not supported gun violence prevention that thoughts and prayers are not enough. They've never been enough. When will you draw the line? Thank you.
Our next speaker is Representative Liz Berry, and she is here with David Hackney, Representative David Hackney, and they are both working to bring gun safety measures to our state legislature. So thank you for that. And Liz told me I shouldn't read her the bio that I was given for her, but it's really pretty good. So I think I will. Okay. So she proudly represents the 36th Legislative District in Seattle, where my son lives, yes. She was elected in 2020, taking office at the height of COVID, as it was beginning, really, and is the mother of 2 adorable children, George and Eleanor. Congratulations. Liz is a champion in gun violence prevention for Washington, and she is a gun violence survivor herself. Liz was an amazing freshman legislator. I speak for a living. Sponsoring bills that banned ghost guns, limited high-capacity magazines, and prohibited open carry at the state capitol, public demonstrations, government meetings, and election-related facilities. She also worked to secure $8 million in funding for gun violence prevention through our Washington Office of Firearms Safety and Violence Prevention. All this was accomplished in her first legislative session. Liz is just getting started. Liz, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm Representative Liz Berry from Northwest Seattle. I know we have many constituents in the room tonight, so thank you for being here. And I am a survivor. And I'm standing in front of you tonight because we remember 10 years ago today that 20 first graders and 6 educators were murdered in their classrooms at Sandy Hook Elementary. And this morning, I had breakfast with my first grader, George, and I told him the story, and then I sent him off to school. And there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight with all of you, so thank you. But a lot has changed in 10 years. It spurred a renewed movement to end gun violence. It inspired an angry mother to found Mom's Demand, which has also led to Everytown. And it inspired my former boss and mentor, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, to found her organization called Giffords. And it inspired me to run for office in our community. My life changed forever 11 years ago on a bright, sunny morning in Tucson, Arizona, when a gunman opened fire at a constituent event of my boss and mentor, Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. She was the target of this attack and shot point blank in the head. 6 people died that day, including my friend and colleague, Gabe Zimmerman. And Gabe was the first congressional staffer to be killed in the line of duty. This incident and watching Gabby fight for her recovery has inspired me to do more to end gun violence in our communities. And in just 2 years, we've made so much progress that you outlined before you. But we have robust gun safety majorities in our legislature, and we have used those. We also have strong support from our legislative leaders in the House and Senate. They are willing to spend the hours it takes to debate and pass these bills off the floor for the governor to sign into law. And we have passed a ban on ghost guns. We have passed a ban on high-capacity magazines. We have banned open carry at the state capitol, at election facilities, at open meetings. And we have put real money in funding violence prevention programs in our communities. And this wouldn't have been possible without the support of my colleague, Representative David Hackney, who was also elected with me in 2020. And I'm telling you, it depends, it matters who you elect to these positions, who is going to make ending gun violence their top priorities in the legislature. So thank you for that. And this session, we have got our eyes on some big priorities, and we're going to need every one of you there in Olympia advocating to get these done. We are going to ban assault weapons. Yes. We're going to do it. We are going to require that people obtain a permit to purchase a firearm. What a concept. And with that, you have to go through a safety training and have a mandatory 10-day waiting period before you can obtain your firearm. And we are going to hold the gun industry accountable for the destruction they caused our communities. Yep. Yeah. So tonight I'm here to remember with all of you. You give me strength, and my pain inspires my activism. And I promise I won't stop fighting. So thank you.
So this is the point where this becomes truly a vigil, and we're going to hear the names of victims and some facts about them. And then we're going to light those little candles that you found on your chairs with you when you sat down in here. The way that we're going to do that is that our ushers are going to come forward and light their candles off of the altar here, and they'll bring the flame to each row. I just have one instruction. When you're lighting the candles, tip the one that's not burning Because these candles, they don't drip much at all if you keep them straight up and down. But if you tip they drip a lot. So tip the one that's not lit to light the next one. And while that's happening, we're going to hear a song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And when all of our candles are lit and the song is done, we're going to start a process that will be the conclusion of this part of the evening. And the way that's going to work is I'm going to take this microphone after the names have been read, and I'm going to put it out here. And you're invited to come forward with your lit candle and put your candle in one of these sand bowls. And after you put your candle in the sand bowl, you'll go down the side aisle and we'll gather in the parish hall, which is that room out there. But the reason the microphone is out there is so that you can speak the names of the people that you want to remember, the victims that are on your heart. If there's a name that needs to be spoken tonight, this is your chance. This microphone will be right there in the center. Speak the name. Place your candle in the sand, and then we'll gather outside. So we'll begin now with Jane Weiss and Sabrina Bates reading the names.
Honor the children and lives stolen in gun violence in Washington State this year. The unnamed soul boxes to our right represent the 70 to 80 youth stolen in gun violence every year in Washington State.
But because we cannot name all of the youth taken in gun violence in Washington in 1 year, we can name the public-facing names of those killed in highly publicized shootings across the country. And here in Washington, since the Sandy Hook, Connecticut shooting 10 years ago.
We will name the names of victims from Sandy Hook School, Connecticut, Marysville Pilchuck High School, Washington, Mukilteo, Washington, Freeman High School, Washington, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, Florida, Robb Elementary, Texas, and Ingram High School, Washington.
These 72 names represent the approximate number of children and youth stolen in gun violence in 2021 in Washington State. We are including the names of the educators' lives stolen in those shootings as well.
Here are some important facts to remember. 2020 marked the first year that firearms overtook car accidents as the leading cause of death for children and youth, according to the CDC.
Approximately 3,540 American children and youth die by gun every year.
Nearly 35% of gun deaths among children and youth are suicide.
Nearly 60% of all death among children and youth by firearm are homicides.
It is important to note that although black children and youth made up 14% of the population in 2019, they accounted for 43% of all child and youth death by firearm.
We know that for each child or youth fatally shot, another 5 suffered non-fatal gunshot wounds.
Jessica Roth, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Olivia Engel, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Aviel Richmond, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Jesse Lewis, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Grace Audrey McDonald, age 7, Newtown, Connecticut.
Noah Posner, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Anna Marquez Green, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Emily Parker, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Charlotte Bacon, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Catherine Hubbard, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Josephine Gay, age 7, Newtown, Connecticut.
Daniel Barden, age 7, Newtown, Connecticut.
James Mattioli, 6 years old, Newtown, Connecticut.
Caroline Praviti, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Allison Wyatt, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Dylan Hockley, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Madeline Shue, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Chase Kowalski, age 7, Newtown, Connecticut.
Jack Pinto, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Benjamin Wheeler, age 6, Newtown, Connecticut.
Victoria Soto, age 27, Newtown, Connecticut.
Lauren Rousseau, age 30, Newtown, Connecticut.
Don Hawksbrun, age 47, Newtown, Connecticut.
Mary Sherlock, age 56, Newtown, Connecticut.
Rachel Davino, age 29, Newtown, Connecticut.
Anne Marie Murphy, age 52, Newtown, Connecticut.
Zoe Galasso, age 14, Marysville, Washington.
Gia Soriano, age 14, Marysville, Washington.
Shaylee Chuckle Naskett, age 14, Marysville, Washington.
Nate Hatch, age 14, Marysville, Washington.
Sam Strahan, age 15, Freeman, Washington.
Anna Bowie, age 19, Mukilteo, Washington.
Jordan Ebner, age 19, Mukilteo, Washington.
Jake Long, age 19, Mukilteo, Washington.
Martin Duke, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Nicholas Dworet, age 17, Parkland, Florida.
Jamie Guttenberg, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Luke Hoyer, age 15, Parkland, Florida.
Cara Loughran, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Gina Montalto, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Joaquin Oliver, age 17, Parkland, Florida.
Elena Petty, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Meadow Pollock, age 18, Parkland, Florida.
Helena Ramsey, age 17, Parkland, Florida.
Alex Schachter, age 14, Parkland, Florida.
Carmen Shentrup, age 16, Parkland, Florida.
Peter Wong, age 15, Parkland, Florida.
Scott Beagle, age 35, Parkland, Florida.
Aaron Feiss, age 37, Parkland, Florida.
Chris Hickson, age 49, Parkland, Florida.
McKenna Lee Elrod, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Layla Salazar, age 11, Uvalde, Texas.
Miranda Mathis, age 11, Uvalde, Texas.
Nevaeh Bravo, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Jose Manuel Flores Jr., age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Xavier Lopez, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Tess Marie Mata, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Rogelio Torres, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Ellie Amia Garcia, age 9, Uvalde, Texas.
Eliana Torres, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Annabelle Guadalupe, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Jackie Casares, age 9, Uvalde, Texas.
Uzziah Garcia, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Jace Carmelo Luvanos, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Maite Juliana Rodriguez, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Jayla Nicole Silguero, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Amory Joe Garza, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Alexandria Lexi Ania Rubio, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Alethea Ramirez, age 10, Uvalde, Texas.
Irma Garcia, age 48, Uvalde, Texas.
Ava Morales, 44, Uvalde, Texas.
Ebenezer Hiley, 17, Seattle, Washington.
Let there be
Veronica Weiss, age 19, Isla Vista, California.
Horace Lorenzo, 19 years old, Seattle, Washington. Jamez Johnson, 19-year-old, Seattle, Washington. And Ricky Sinclair, 42-year-old, Seattle, Washington.
Matt Boravena, 34, Bellingham, Washington.
Darius, 13, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Gabe Zimmerman, age 30, Tucson, Arizona.
Doug Brandt, Spokane, Washington.
Ed Zerniak, age 15, Columbus, Ohio.
Anoka Afwalo, 37, Shoreline, Washington.
Michael Kampf, age 56, Los Angeles, California.
Aaron Matzinger, age 16, New Hope, Minnesota.
Kara Christensen, 34, Linwood.
Ebenezer Hiley, Seattle, Ingram High School.
Kim Anderson, Shoreline, age 29.
Mike Hansen, Eagle River, Alaska.
Bobby Skinner, age 22, Seattle.
Jonathan Orbiton, Oakland, California.
Paul Albander, 62, Seattle, Washington.
Dorian Jones, Dennis Smith Jr., Seville Smith, Dontre Hamilton, Jay Anderson, all of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Devon Pickett, the postman, Central Area, Seattle, and Lamont Lancaster, Seattle, age 16.
Somé Domingo, Seattle, Washington.
Sydney Iao, Parkland, Florida.
Many of us won't have a name to say, but we can bring our candles forward and place them in the sand in solidarity with those who do have a name to say.
George Dennis Holderfield Jr., Dallas, Texas, age 16.
Brendan Fox, Tucson, Arizona.
Robert Kelly, Los Angeles, 27.
Bobby Cope, age 18, Aptos, California.
age 18, Eugene, Oregon.
Jenny Kuda, Napa, California.
Ann Rice, Bainbridge Island.
Bob Hasten, 67, Seattle, Washington.
Cheyenne, age 16.
Christy Bach, Seattle. Roy Sultan.
Brian Orchard, killed in the line of duty, Spokane, Washington. Joe Gillespie, age 12, Spokane, Washington.
Timothy Murciego, 19. Samuel Curry, 20. Seattle, Washington.